Okay, it is Thursday, April 16th, 2026, and today's episode is brought to you by the beautiful chaos of automation. Like, an AI assembled this show end to end, which means if I suddenly say, I am a delicious oyster, just know the robots are stress testing our brand.
Wait, don't threaten me with a good time. Hi, I'm Riley.
And I'm Hunter. This is Blue Lightning Daily, the podcast where we keep creators ahead of the curve without turning your brain into benchmark soup.
Speaking of soup, today's story is Alibaba's Happy Oyster, which is either the cutest name for a terrifyingly powerful tool or the most suspicious demo since my uncle works at Nintendo.
Yeah, Happy Oyster is Alibaba swinging at what comes after text-to-video clips. The pitch is basically, stop generating little video files like it's a render queue and start generating a real-time world you can steer while it's running.
Which is a huge vibe shift, because current AI video is like, type prompt, pray, download, and then cry when the character's face turns into their cousin mid-shot.
Exactly. The messy part is continuity, not just make it pretty, but keep the character the same, keep objects where they were, keep the space making sense, and let me iterate without nuking the whole universe.
So it's less vending machine, more living terrarium?
Yes, like a session you direct. And apparently Happy Oyster has two modes. Directing mode, where you're actively steering story beats, lighting, scene elements in real time, and wandering mode, which is more like drop into a first-person world and explore as it expands.
Wandering mode is for me, directing mode is for you. You're the adjust the key light 3 degrees guy.
I feel attacked, but also seen. And the real creator question is, what's the first thing you'd throw at this to see if it's legit?
Okay, my legit test is, I'm streaming, I've got chat voting on what happens next, and I need the environment to react without turning into abstract soup, like make it neon rain, now add a vending machine, now pan left, now a character walks in. If it can survive Twitch chat, it's real.
That's a brutal test. Mine is more boring but deadly. I'd block a short scene with a character walking across a space, interacting with an object, and I'd keep interrupting. Hold that pose, now change the time of day, now move the camera behind them, now pick up the cup again. If the cup teleports or the character's outfit re-rolls, the demo trench coat starts flapping.
Wait, what's the first task that exposes it as a polished demo?
The moment you say, can we just tweak it a little? That's where tools either feel like a world or like a fragile magic trick.
Yeah, clients are the final boss of real time.
The thing I'm watching is what they mean by continuity, because continuity can mean a lot of things. Character identity, spatial logic, object permanence.
Or, please do not turn my protagonist into a different cousin every time I say pan left. That's my continuity metric.
Same. For creators, the simplest continuity test is, can you do a camera move and keep the scene coherent? Like pan, orbit, dolly, whatever. If the geometry doesn't hold, it's basically a video model wearing a VR headset.
And the other big question is persistence. Like, does the world stay stable across sessions? Can I save it, branch it, come back tomorrow?
Right now, public info sounds strong on continuity during the session, but cross-session persistence is still a question mark. And for working creators, that is everything. Because if you can't come back to the same set, it's not a pipeline tool, it's a playground.
Okay, give me the dead simple vendor questions. Like, I don't want their magical internal benchmarks, I want real questions.
All right. First, can I save world state and reopen it later with the same layout and characters? Next, can I version it, like fork this scene into 3 options without breaking continuity?
Oh, that's huge for pitches.
And then the most boring, most important. What can I export? Can I export clips cleanly? Can I export scene data, assets? Even if it's rough, if export is a no, you're basically renting vibes.
Renting vibes is so real, and it's also where I'm going to challenge you, Hunter. Because creators might not even need full export at first. If the tool is stable enough for previs and client review, that's still money.
Fair. Like a fast previs layer for virtual production blocking? If you can direct lighting and staging live, small teams can stop waiting on a 3D pass just to see if something works.
Exactly. And for live content backdrops, dude, streamers, event teams, even brands running interactive launches, a steerable world is basically a reactive stage set.
As long as it doesn't melt mid-joke.
Which it will. Because AI loves comedic timing, and by loves I mean it chooses violence.
Speaking of the ecosystem, this whole world mode thing is not happening in a vacuum. We've been tracking the convergence. Google's Project Genie was already teasing prompt to explorable environments.
And PixVerse has been pushing the real-time world model angle too, like with their R1 framing.
Plus, we just covered Gemini generating interactive 3D models and live simulations inside chat, which is a different interface, but the same direction interactive artifacts, not static outputs.
That's the theme of the month. Everything is turning from output into object. Like, don't just give me a video, give me something I can poke.
Exactly. And while we're here, PixVerse C1 going storyboard to video in beta is kind of the bridge between old-school production language and this new world model thing. Storyboards are structure, worlds are state.
Wait, I love that. Storyboard tools are like, here's the sequence. World tools are like, here's the physics of your universe, good luck.
And then on the assistant side, Meta's Muse Spark is another signal. Multimodal, product integrated, more agenty, but also more closed. Lots of private preview energy.
Which is the new normal. Everyone's like, we built a spaceship, you can look at it through the glass.
Totally. Meanwhile, on the practical creator grind, that seamless text in-painting chatter is another example. Even when details are murky, the workflow demand is real. People need localization and text replacement in images at scale, without doing pixel surgery all day.
I swear half of marketing is just redoing the same creative in 12 languages and pretending it's strategy.
So back to Happy Oyster, who actually wins with directing mode versus wandering mode?
Directing mode is for filmmakers, agencies, and production teams who need control and repeatability. Wandering mode is for world building, game prototyping, and yes, chaos goblins in Twitch chat.
The Chaos Goblins always win.
They do, because they'll find the edge cases instantly, like spawn 10,000 rubber ducks and make the sun purple. And then your world model is like, I am no longer your employee.
That's also where real-time breaks first, crowded scenes, long sessions, and fast camera moves. Anything that stresses memory, coherence, and timing.
And the most cursed moment, when you're on hour 2, everything's going great, and then someone says, can we just tweak it a little, and the whole world respawns like a battle royale.
That's why we're not overhyping this. The demo story is exciting, but the adoption story depends on boring stuff. Stability, persistence, export, pricing, and access.
Access right now looks like early access vibes, waitlist, or experience now on their site. But pricing isn't clearly published yet, which is always a little mystery box.
Yeah, if you're a creator listening, treat Happy Oyster like a signal. The industry is moving toward interactive, steerable sessions. Whether this specific tool becomes your daily driver will come down to whether it fits your pipeline and doesn't fall apart in the wild.
And if you do get access, please do the public service of testing it like a menace. Like, see if the character can hold an object for longer than a goldfish memory.
Also, record your tests. Because the most valuable content right now isn't here's a pretty clip. It's here's what breaks, here's what holds, here's how to direct it without it going off the rails.
That's the creator advantage. We don't just clap for the demo, we stress test it like it owes us money.
All right, that's the episode. Thanks for hanging with us while our fully automated AI production pipeline bravely tries not to identify as a shellfish.
If it does, we're renaming the show Blue Lightning Oyster Daily.
Absolutely not.
Subscribe if you want more practical AI updates for creators and marketers, and hit up bluelightningtv.com for the latest news, breakdowns, and workflow reality checks. Catch you next time, unless the world model respawns us into a different podcast.